How far away do you think we are from the credit unions being able to facilitate mortgages?
Well, it's happening already, and there are different mechanisms there. I know ourselves we introduced a mortgage support framework to support credit unions doing it, and there's over 20 doing it now. They've processed roughly 44 million in home loans. Average loan size around 110,000. So it is happening, and certainly it's what we're finding as well is that while some credit unions are able to offer a wide range of mortgages to their members, others are actually focusing on particular niches where people may not be able to access mortgage because perhaps the actual loan amount might be considered too small for a mainstream bank. Credit union more than happy to facilitate and look after their members there.
Yeah, I do think that needs to be progressed, particularly in light of the vulture funds and everything else that's going on in the free market.
Well, there is a very important consultation has just closed on the whole lending framework, and there's some very positive things in that. There's obviously some concerns we would have as well in it, and again we can explore that if you like. But that definitely will open up more potential if the credit unions can access the higher limits that are mentioned in that, and that there's a transparent way that can be done, then that certainly would open up the potential to serve more people on mortgages.
Did you?
Yeah, I think if you go back to the recommendations of Cook in mid-2016, and when we sat down as an implementation group, we would have said the consultation on the review of the lending regulations was probably the highest priority item. That consultation is underway. The submissions have been, the submission deadline was the 9th of January, so the Central Bank have now received all the submissions from stakeholders, probably including yourselves. Just one other aspect, when those regulations do kick in, I think it's been very useful for the sector that the two representative bodies, either side of me, both CUDA and ILCU, have set up structures which will facilitate their members in doing something which is actually quite burdensome and complex for individual credit unions to do. So I think it's a really good example of where credit unions can collaborate, develop services which will enable other smaller credit unions to do things on a much more cost-effective basis. I think that's been very useful.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Rowley, yeah. Just a final point on that. I think it is important to, like one of the points there that Kevin Johnson made is a very important one, and that is the one around collective lending and the difficulty with collective lending, whereas it will be, and I'm looking at the mortgage proposition at this point, for the larger credit unions, it will be easier from that perspective to do individual lending, but there still is there still is a huge need throughout the country to address areas like social housing, and that can only effectively be addressed on a collective basis. And there are significant difficulties in that area now that need to be addressed, if we are to advance that particular agenda. And I think that certainly bears closer scrutiny by your good selves.
Okay. Thank you.